It was on there for a second. Now it's not on there. There you go.
Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road, all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home. Cause I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Incentive Concepts Live. It's Andy Hudson. It's 2022. Welcome to the new year. Our first episode of 2022. Happy New Year to everyone. We hope 2022 has started off on the right foot for you all for sure. And we'd like to welcome all of our viewers, whether you're on our website, incentiveconcepts.com/live, of course. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're everywhere. And our last episode of the year last year featured two amazing guests, our president, Joe Reinberg, and also our VP of admin, Billy Reese, two people that I really admire and look up to. And they came up with three key terms that they're thinking of for the year. And Billy's were evolve and communicate. And then Joe threw in mayhem, which probably a lot of us are experiencing right now. So put in the chat maybe two or three words that you're thinking about as you head into this new year. Some key terms that you're using to think of this new year. About a year ago, I said hope was one of mine. I think that's a good one. But anyways, put them in the chat, two or three key terms. Maybe we'll ask our guests those too. And also feel free to put in the chat any comments or questions that you might have for our guests or just for Incentive Concepts in general. Today's episode is Get Ready for the PPAI Expo. And next week is the industry's biggest show out in Las Vegas. I'll be attending along with some others from the Incentive Concepts team. So let's welcome on our viewers now, if they could unmute themselves and turn their cameras on. I'm sorry, our guests. So we have with Incentive Concepts, of course, my favorite co-host, Kevin Hagan, and with PPAI, we have Ellen Tucker. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andy.
Thank you so much for joining us, you two. And Kevin, what's new? What's the past 3 months been like or so for you, my friend? It's been a while.
Just playing golf, goofing around. Fourth quarter was crazy, as you know, and always is in this business, but it was just more of a scramble with the situation of containers and inventory and supply and demand. It's just been so crazy. It was just great to get through the fourth quarter successfully. We've done very well. I think everybody did their own pivot, and we ended up just basically selling what we had. And it wasn't always what people needed, but we had it, so they bought it, and that was successful. So it was quite a challenge. Thanks for the break off the IC lives. It's good to be back. Happy New Year, everybody. But yeah, the fourth quarter was just crazy the last few months, but it's been good.
Well, I remember in our daily meetings, you'd say people would be calling in for a, let's say a piece of luggage, and you'd sell them a water pressure or a pressure washer or something.
Pressure washers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a great salesperson if you can do that. But Kevin, welcome back. And Ellen, we're really glad that you're on today. You are the director of new business or business development, rather, and expos for PPI. Can you give people a little self-intro?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be joining y'all. I am Ellen, and I've been with PPAI for just about 8 years now. So for the first part of my tenure with PPAI, I was just in charge of business development, which for PPAI, because it means something different at every company, is our non-dues revenue. So all of the revenue that comes in for the association that's not membership dues. So whether that's the expo or our advertising or sponsorships, it's that whole gamut of things. And then in 2020, I added to my plate the expositions department. So whether the trade show is virtual or it is in person, that now falls under me as well. So you mentioned we're getting ready for the PPAI Expo. And so my team is hard at work. We are all sitting in Vegas. I'm joining you from my hotel room. And we're just excited about being back in person with everybody next week.
Well, that's wonderful. And we are going to talk about the expo specifically in a second, but can you give us a little info about yourself personally, if you don't mind? Maybe family, interests, hobbies, anything unique about yourself?
So I am originally from Chicago, moved to Texas when I was pretty young. And I am a diehard Green Bay Packers fan, which makes sense to nobody that's actually from Chicago.
Yeah, not at all.
So have converted my husband to be a Packers fan.
Mm.
He is born and bred in Texas. So we live in Dallas and we have 2 cats. But yeah, so we met playing soccer. I've grown up my whole life playing soccer. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I played a little soccer myself. Kevin's a Green Bay Packer fan. I mean, Chicago Bears fan. I'm just
Very careful.
all right. So we could talk about that offline. We want to be cooperative here on this episode. Okay. Well, that's fantastic, Ellen. And we're really glad to have you. So we are going to talk about the expo today, but let's talk about PPAI first. So you've talked about your role. What are some of the advocacy efforts that PPAI does for its members, or maybe just the industry in general?
Yeah, so when I think about the advocacy that PPAI does, I kind of look at it in 2 different buckets. So I think when people say advocacy, the first thing they think about is legislatively, like what we do on behalf of the industry and for our members. And so that's a big piece of being a trade association, and we do a lot in that area. So Ann Stone, who's the director over that area, and Maurice Norris, who is our manager of public affairs, do a great job of keeping track of what's happening legislatively that may affect our members. So we have a lot of small businesses in our industry, and so we pay attention to that. And then we obviously go and talk to government about the things that we would like to see pushed through and get legislator pushed through from that perspective. But we also look at things like the supply chain and those types of things, and anything that's going to be affecting all of us in the industry, as well as so many other industries, and what we can do there. We join a lot of other groups to make our voice even stronger. So we do that as well. And so it's just a big piece for us, and it does a lot of benefit for our members. The other area that when I say advocacy, I think about is the advocacy we do to grow the industry and the promotional products and recognition community within the larger, when you talk to like marketers and those types of things. So we've had our Get in Touch program historically, and I think we have a lot of things that we're going to be rolling out in the near future to start to grow the influence and recognition of the promotional products and how to use those in campaigns for brands and what we in our industry call end buyers, but the distributors, clients, and that piece of things, which will help grow the overall industry. And the bigger that we make the pie, the bigger your slice of the pie becomes.
Wonderful. That's a great way to explain it. And when we started this episode, I mentioned some key terms, and I'm wondering if you and Kevin might have some thoughts. So I'm going to ask you kind of some key terms maybe you're thinking about for 2022. You too, Kevin, but let's go to the chat and see what people have put in there so far. So we talked about evolve and communicate, were some that Billy mentioned last week. Dave Kedzie says positivity. Very nice, Dave. I like that one. And Mary Pat Mitchell says transition. And our one and only Shelby Anderson said his word will be the same word as his last 15 years. It's a 2-letter word. It goes like this: no. Okay. So thanks, Shelby. You're always make us laugh. Kevin, what do you think? A few key words going into this year to help us get through it?
Retirement. Oh, no, wait, that's not it. Focus, growth, and really just professionalism. And we've kind of been in this business for a long time. It's a fun business. We get to relax a little bit, but focusing on the professionalism and just the attitude and the way we come across to our customers and clients is important. And we always do a very good job of that, but just keeping that at top of mind as well.
Perfect. Dean says optimistic, and David Rosenstock says patience, pivot, and lots of deep breaths. I think that's a good one there too.
Good one.
And Libby says resilience. All great words. Ellen, any additional ones you want to throw into the hat there?
I think I'd say pushing forward. I think we're at a point where people are ready to start moving forward. And while that's going to look different, and whether or not that's Kevin convincing somebody that they can use a power washer instead of a luggage for what they need to do, or we're finding new ways to grow the industry. I think it's time to start to be creative and push forward and, just move forward and look at the opportunities that lay ahead.
For sure. I love it. Again, everybody, it's Andy Hudson, Director of Marketing Incentive Concepts. I've got Kevin Hagan, my good friend, our VP of Sales on here, and Ellen Tucker from PPAI. Thank you all for joining us, Incentive Concepts Live. We're going to talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, which is the pandemic, of course. And everybody's talking about it, but what are some things that you have done personally, Ellen, and maybe PPAI as an organization to remain relevant during this really challenging time?
So I think we've tried to find ways to get information out that's useful in different ways previously. We did some digital supplements, different ways to engage with our members. I also think that last year during January, we hosted a virtual show, and we were able to connect people in a way that we haven't connected before from a trade show perspective. And so I think that we've been trying to find ways to bring the same value, but in different avenues. And we're continuing to evolve and continuing to find those new ways while bringing back some of the previous ways and historical ways that we all love and cherish so much.
Perfect. And Kevin, Incentive Concepts has been a longtime member of PPAI, and know we've participated in the show for many years. And so what does it mean to you in your role as VP of Sales as far as being a member of the PPAI organization?
Good question. I think it helps provide teamwork and then working together to drive all the same things. We're all competitors when it comes down to it. We have our own business and goals, but we are really an industry that drives together for the same purpose and trying to grow that for everybody. And I think PPI kind of pulls that all together for us. And just, keeping us in tune and on point with things and up to date with things that are going on within the industry are always great to see from that directive. And when they put all that information out, it's important and knowledgeable, and it's something that we always take into effect on our business.
For sure. And I know I've enjoyed my relationship in the short time I've been with Incentive Concepts, almost 5 years now, by the way, Kevin. I know you've been counting. Yeah, by the way, we like to give away stuff here on these episodes, and we are going to give away a cool gift here a little bit later, but you got to stay tuned in to find out where you can go to enter that. So make sure to stay tuned in this. Ellen, I'm coming back to you. Let's talk about next week now. It's the PPAI Expo. It's in Vegas. How would you explain the event to somebody who's never been there before?
So I'd explain it as the way that you want to kick off your year. And it's the largest gathering of promotional products, distributors and suppliers, and they come together to learn, to network, and to do business. To grow your community. And it's an opportunity, and depending where numbers fall every year, it's a little bit different how many exactly there are, but it's always going to be the largest gathering of individuals, and it's where relationships are formed. It's where relationships are solidified. It's where relationships continue to grow. And that's so key to all of our businesses. So one of the things that PPI has tried to do over I'm going to say the past decade, but probably beyond there, is to make sure that we're very inclusive at the show. So we want the entire sandbox of the promotional products marketplace to be a part of the expo. So if that's somebody hosting an ancillary meeting with us, we're going to encourage that. If that's somebody bringing a different type of education, if that's larger distributors having sales meetings at our show, we just want to be as inclusive as we can so that everybody who is attending can get whatever they're looking for out of the show.
Wonderful. And I've run some events over the years. I know Kevin and I have kind of run events together. Nothing as large as the PPI Expo, I must admit. But tell me, how do you manage all the moving parts and pieces and the different people that are involved in a show like this?
I have an amazing team. That's how I do it. It's a full team effort at PPAI. I get to come on to things like this and take a lot of credit where it's my full team that deserves the credit. But we have a department that works on the education piece. We have our marketing team who does great support there. But we've got our sales team that works with all of our exhibitors, as well as our large distributors that are hosting meetings there. And then we've got an operations team who's in charge of everything from registration and housing to working with our great vendor partners like Freeman, who, is laying carpet today. And we've got just great relationships. Obviously, we've got a great relationship with Mandalay Bay. They've been wonderful over the last 2 years to work with. So it's just communication. And again, it goes back to that big piece of everybody's business. That's relationships and the people. The people are what make it happen.
I agree. And Kevin, I know the expo we attend as an exhibitor every year, but there's always different things going on, Kevin. And some of the fun things that you and I have been involved in is dinners with clients and other things. But what are some of your favorite parts, Kevin, about the expo?
I think just what Ellen said. I mean, really the relationships and seeing people that you haven't seen in a while. It's a big industry, but it's a very small industry as well. So there's just a lot of friends and people I've known for years that it's good to see and run into out there, as well as our customers that we've got relationships with. Just seeing them, it's just an opportunity to share some information and build those relationships and show some new products. And I think that's one of the biggest things we try and focus on, is really getting to those new items. What's new for this year, what's coming up. And we spend a lot of time and effort in making sure that we have the freshest information for distributors and customers and our reps coming in.
And speaking of new, Ellen, there's a big new event that's happening during the show. Can you tell us about this thing? I've seen a little bit about it. I want to hear a little bit more though.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. So we've historically on Wednesday of show week had a Power of Two party, and we decided this year, and in the past it's been we've done a variety of things with that, but for the past few years we've been having it at House of Blues, which has been a great venue and it's been a solid party. But we wanted to do something as we come back to in-person events that was a little bit more over the top and something that was a little bit more exciting. And so if you haven't heard, Vegas over the last 2 years has a new stadium, and Allegiant Stadium is where we're going to be hosting what we have rebranded as Promopalooza. So we are ecstatic about having this event there. There's plenty of room to space out. We're going to be up on, if you're aware of the stadium at all, there's a torch up in there on what's called the Coors Light Landing, and that's where we're going to be. But you'll also get to go down on the field for a little bit, as well as check out the locker room. So we're really excited about this opportunity. I think it's going to be there's going to be live music, and there's going to be food and obviously drinks, and it's just going to be a really good time. It's a 2-minute shuttle bus ride over. You can walk. I wouldn't recommend walking. You're walking along the street with cars driving, and you probably had a cocktail or two. So I'd prefer you to take the shuttle bus. A little bit safer. But we're really excited about it. And I think it's going to be really fun to be back in person. And I think one of the things I'm most excited about this event is you're going to have the fun party scene that we've had in the past with the music, and I'm sure people will be dancing and taking pictures and all of that, but there's also enough space and area to be able to actually step away and have a conversation and do some real networking. And I think that's going to be really key too.
Okay. So Promopalooza. Now I think we have a video clip that we can share with our viewers of this actual event. So let's go see it. Let's see if we can go ahead and launch that video here. Sweet. I'm ready. Hey, Kevin, I'll take my football. You wear your Chicago Bears uniform. I'll wear my Pittsburgh Steelers. Ellen can wear her Green Bay Packers, and we'll play a little catch or something.
Okay.
All right. 1 on 3.
There you go.
I bet
the Packers player would obviously win, right?
I bet I could make a 10-yard field goal on that field.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Maybe not. Okay.
Save
Listen,
your betting for Vegas.
Yeah. Now, this looks fantastic. It's great. And I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. We like to give away things here on this episode because we have amazing brands, amazing brand partners, amazing gifts. So we're going to give away a pair of the newest sport earbuds from Bose in this awesome Baltic blue color. So head on over to incentiveconcepts.com/sport 2022. All right. So incentiveconcepts.com/sport 2022. 2022. And that's in the chat now as well. Click on that, enter to win until 4 p.m. Central today. Ellen, if you can go on there too, if you want, and maybe we'll draw your name.
I'm eligible.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
But Kevin, I'm going to come back over to you because we are getting close to the top of the hour here, but I want to talk a little bit about Incentive Concepts presence at the show. Can you kind of give us an overview of what our booth is going to be like?
Yeah, in the past we had what we used to call what did we call it 2 years ago? The gauntlet, I think, because we bought so many booths on each side. We scaled back a little bit, obviously, just in the times of the way things are right now. But we're really focusing on, like I mentioned, new products from each of our brands. So we're representing really all of our brands there. We have a good representation of the new products that are available. So instead of bringing out a lot of things that people already know about and have seen and are currently in programs, we're really focusing on newer items or things that aren't as known in the marketplace currently. So that's our main focus there, and to keep things kind of fresh and keep things a little bit different than we have in the past.
Cool.
We
and,
also,
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. We also are inviting our Canadian customer, our Canadian sisters company, KLF. They will also be in the booth. So if anybody from Canada comes by, we can discuss Canadian business as well through our sister company there.
Right. Yeah. Sister company KLF Group, and their program is called Loyalty Source, by the way. And so at least one, if not two, of the KLF Group team are going to be there pending travel restrictions and all of that. But incentiveconcepts.com/PPAI is where you can go to look up information about our presence there. Now, Kevin, what if people can't make it to the show for whatever reason? Are they able to kind of figure out a way to interact with us during the show at all?
Yeah, actually, we'll be doing these IC lives from the show for a couple of the different brands and categories. So we'll be doing a few different ones, and I don't know if you're going to promote that now or talk about that later, Andy, but look at Incentive Concepts and go to incentiveconcepts.com, and we will do some live broadcasts from the show itself. So if you can't make it, we'll be able to fill you in on a few things. And then I also believe we'll be doing the direct to you online in February. So again, if you're not available to make it, we'll be able to go a little bit more in detail with some of the products on that site and an online version of the show.
Okay, cool. And I will talk about those IC lives here in a second, but Ellen, this is a great segue into this direct to you or DTU program that's in February. Can you give us a little overview of what that's all about?
Yeah, so when we were planning the PPAI Expo this year, we realized that there was going to be some people in our community that were not comfortable traveling yet or weren't able to travel for whatever reason this year. And so we wanted to plan something that was going to be a little bit later in the year so that we didn't put a strain unnecessarily on some of our smaller suppliers. So we have varying staff sizes across different exhibitors, and some exhibitors wouldn't be able to man a booth in person and virtually at the same time. So we purposely scheduled it for 5 weeks later. So we're going to be having direct to you February 22nd through 24th. And we're going to have some of our education sessions that are recorded here also available there. And it's going to be very similar to last year's virtual program that took place in January. So we are just getting into marketing it. We wanted to focus on the in-person event before really getting marketing pieces out about it, but we'll be putting out some more information about that. And we'll be, starting to talk to exhibitors a little bit more about that while we're at the show this year.
Okay. Well, Kevin and I have been talking, and we're definitely interested in being part of that. So we'll connect with you, Ellen, on that for sure. And I do want to kind of, based on what Kevin said about next week, give people a little peek under the covers here. So we are going to go live from the show floor, Ellen, right there at PPAI once a day during the show. So on day one, Tuesday of next week, we're going to go, and the theme is sound and style. And we're going to have an overview of our really stylish and fashionable brands out there. And then we're going to feature our amazing brand partner, Bose. which has been fantastic. Our own Kate Rank, who works in our event division, is going to join us virtually. And then Brian Surrett from Bose is going to join us virtually too. And I'll be there on the show floor with Kevin and others. So you can either come by the booth and be part of that show, or you can watch online and be part of it too. We're also going to give away a prize every day, one for on-site visitors, one for virtual viewers. So that's kind of cool. The second day is going to be fitness, wellness, and fun featuring Hyper Ice, which is a great new brand of ours. And we'll also do a nice overview of some of our fun brands for families, for kids, either on the water, in the backyard, wherever the case may be. And our co-host for that event is Tom Safaratore from New York. And then two members of Hyper Ice will be joining us there virtually. And then on the third day, Thursday, it's all about the home, for the home, inside and out, featuring our brand partner, Mr. Barbecue. Austin Gurney from Mr. Barbecue is going to join us, and our one and only Aaron Cook is going to join us virtually too for that one. So cookware, kitchenware, bakeware, inside the home, outside the home, grills, fire pits, everything you need. So it should be fun. Ellen, maybe you can come by for one of those episodes.
I think that'd be great. Are they all going to be at this time that, so are they going to be at 11:30 Pacific time?
Yeah.
Awesome.
They're 11:30 Pacific time. They last about a half an hour. We try to keep them half an hour. So come on by, check it out. It's going to be really cool because we're going to have some moving parts and pieces to it. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Kevin, anything you want to add about those episodes?
No, they're very informative. So if you can't make it, please tune in. And some really great prizes will be given away. Our factories are very kind around this time. So we've got them some really good stuff to promote and give away to you.
Okay, for sure. Now, Ellen, one last question before we wrap up, and it's a 30-second answer. How can an attendee of PPAI Expo get the most out of their time at the show?
So I think it's all about planning. So you can go to the Sage mobile app, you can go to our website, you can pick up a directory when you first get here and you get your badge. There's a lot of different ways to plan, but take a look at the exhibitors that are going to be there, mark down your top ones that you want to visit, put in a walk list in the Sage mobile app. There's just be prepared and have intention in what you want to get out of the show. And that's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but make sure you go by and thank the exhibitors that are there for being there. They make a big investment in the show and they're there to support you and build that relationship with you.
Excellent. And put booth 622 on your list. Booth 622, it's Incentive Concepts. We're over in the brand section, which is near the product pavilions. Great area of the show floor because you can come in right in the morning after you've checked out the product pavilions. Come stop by, say hello to Kevin, myself, others from the team. Join Incentive Concepts live on site at PPAI Expo, 11:30 each day of the show, or tune in incentiveconcepts.com/live. Kevin, thank you so much as usual. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're back. We're going to keep having you back, my friend.
All right. Thank you. Great job. Great job as always. And Ellen, thanks for joining us as well.
Well, thank y'all for having me. This was wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all in person next week.
Okay, we'll be there on Monday. I'm arriving Sunday and Kevin maybe Saturday. So we'll see you there for sure, Ellen, and all of you out there watching. Oh, go to incentiveconcepts.com/sport 2022. That's where you can enter for a pair of Bose Sport earbuds. Okay, folks, that's it for now.